serious.
It did.
I was trying to find a little humorous parts in there, like your bars and boobs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's all facts too. You know what I'm saying? To get them thinking about it. Like those who may be watching that are a little dumbed down, they're like, oh, he's right about the boobs and the balls. Why are boobs around? Why are balls around? You know what I'm saying? So
it's just the most simple shape.
Yeah, it's the simplest shape, and it's a shape within nature that nature made. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't decide on that being that, and we couldn't decide on that being that. It already was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So back to this thing with flat earth people, you know what I'm saying, that dealing with that.
Part 2.
You know what I'm saying? You can decide on the flat earth thing because that just now got put into play and now you're dealing with. You can't decide on the planet, the round planet, because that was something that was already transpiring. Is already documentation and collective understanding and work being applied to helping you understand that is what it already is already. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is all you gotta do is look back in any part of this globe or any part of this planet and look what's etched on the walls of great civilizations: the Sumerians, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Kemetans, which is Egypt, for those who don't understand what Kemet is. You know what I'm saying? And China. You know what I'm saying? Because everywhere there's a pyramid, there's something also written on it. And then when you go there and you look on those walls, it's also something that's referencing to something celestial. And most things that have a celestial reference, it has to do with something secular. It has to do with something round. It has to do with something that has to do with cycles. You got the Mayan calendar, cycles. It's talking about, the order of things and how they may transpire. Not only is it talking about the order of things that are happening on this earthly plane within nature, it's also talking about the order of things as far as, because the Mayans understood the ancient knowledge and the ancient understanding, which was the bridge still between universal order and us, which was as well as the land going through its changes, we being part of the land, the people, you know what I'm saying? Because just like the earth has 85% water, we got 85% water that flows within our body. 75% water. It's a take from it. But even still, everything that is composed within the planet is composed within us. How our veins have a blood flow through it, and how
the earth does too. Rivers and waters.
And even inside of the crust of the earth, the magma lines run like veins. And so it comes to a head, right?
Yeah.
And what are the heads? The mountains that turn into volcanoes, because every mountain is a volcano. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying every pimple on your head, you know what I'm saying, or every pimple that you get doesn't come to a head. They all come to a head. It's based on either if they have or they haven't already. But there was a point in time where they either did or they're on the point of going to. This is why they're talking about seismic activities and a lot of these quote-unquote dormant volcanoes starting to reactivate. You know what I'm saying? So, again, that's just another correlation between how much of a connection we have to the planet and how much how the planet works in accordance to the same way our body works. You know what I'm saying? And us not losing that fact that we have a deep connection with the planet. The same way the hair grows on my head is the same way how the grass grows outside. The same energy it took for that grass to grow is that same energy that made this hair grow on my head. You know what I'm saying? So and it's simple. You know what I'm saying? You simply just understand that. And because we simply understood that in the ancient times, we were able to make a simple understanding of everything that was going on around us. Hence to the fact of the Kemetic people saying and having so much of knowledge base to create things like running rivers and the Nile River. A lot of people may not know, but the Nile River was man-made. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that was natural. It was man-made. This is why when you can look at it from up in space, it looks like a huge ass flower cutting through the top of Africa.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Once we were bringing agriculture into all the lands or whatever, we did make a lot of man-made rivers and dams or whatever
because we
didn't want it to interfere in our land space. We didn't want we didn't want nature to interfere in our land space. Like, although like it's not civilization as we see today, it was still civilized.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I wouldn't even say interfere. I would say just simply working with what's there. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, for example, for a heroin addict, when he loses that one vein he doping up on, and he's no longer able to extract the blood from or pump any type of or any drugs into that vein dorms out, and so he looks for what? Another vein. And naturally, in the human body, if that vein closes off, another one will pop up naturally. The same thing with the Earth, and again, that's like another planetary correlation. You know what I'm saying? To how things naturally work in the order of things. So when you talk to these flat Earth people, they're not going to be able to correlate on that level because they don't see the planet. They don't see themselves as part of the planet. You know what I'm saying? When very much so you are. And you're a part of the planet. That's a very important part of the planet. Because
that's what they believe, is that we're the most important part of the planet. Like, us as people, they'll like forget all that celestial shit, dude. There's not enough time in our lifespan to worry about the celestial shit that's going on right now, dude. But fucking, let's worry about what we can do on this plane that we exist on, and try to make that shit better, you know? Like, instead
but you can only make it better based on what you understood from the past.
From that and what's possibly out there in the cosmos, you know? Like, we don't know if there's threats out there. We don't know, like, you know, like, or let's say there's going to be like an asteroid, like a meteor shower coming to the Earth. We want to know how to deflect that, or fucking, you know. So there is a lot of money that I think should be spent on space exploration and science, or whatever, and all that. So I don't know.
But back to what you were just saying with the meteor thing, like, that's another thing that, to me, you know what I'm saying, in the natural order of things, we would have sensed for and understood for. That's just like when an invading force is coming in as a tribe of people, or just a collective people living in a certain place. When an invading force comes in, you kind of already get word of an invading force coming in. You can sense it. You can even see it from far away, even in the times where, you know, satellites and things of that nature didn't exist. You foresaw it. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of foresight that we do have.
We had the technology of telescopes and shit for a long time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, and as far as technology is concerned, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people talking about a lot of technologies that exist now that have always been around. Like, a lot of people just realize certain of the certain pictorials on the hieroglyphic walls, like the light bulb, existed way back then. You know what I'm saying? So even our play on what we understand technology to be could be completely misguided, to the point where we're not understanding this in a way that we should. And because we are not understanding this in the way that we should, certain things like you're saying, like meteorites and things like that, that you're basically talking about something that could come out of nature that could surprise us.
Yeah.
But really, in reality, there isn't nothing in nature that could actually come out and surprise us, given the fact that we are so in tune with nature. We'd have the foresight to foresee it coming and make the necessary adjustments. You know what I'm saying? To a degree.
We're less in tune with nature now than we ever were. Like, I was reading this book by Robert Wolfe called Original Wisdom, Stories of an Ancient Way of Knowing. And in this book, Robert Wolfe he's exploring different cultures of, I think it's Indonesia, but I'm not entirely, I don't remember. No, I don't remember. It could have been Malaysia. Could have been, I don't know. He's exploring all these different cultures in that area, whatever. At first, he's in the city.
Tribes.
At first, he's in the city, and he's like, you know, he's exploring the city, whatever, and he's doing all this stuff in the city. But then, like, towards the end of the book, dude, he starts hanging out with the tribal people, whatever, and he was hanging out with these tribal people for probably like a month, whatever, like doing all their practices, you know, like they all sleep with each other, so he was like sleeping with their women, you know, he was one of them. He was out there, you know.
He participated in the way that
he was out there
that they do things.
And then they were teaching him this, like he took their chief leader down to the city with him one day. They had never, like these particular people lived up in the mountains, and they had never left the mountains in their life, right? But so he took the chief down to the ocean, down like with the city down by the ocean and shit. And like he stayed back and he would just observe. Well, Robert Wolf went and like interacted with people, whatever. You know, like he introduced his new chief buddy to some of his mans out in the city or whatever. Yeah. You know, like they did a little bit of networking, and then on their way back into the mountains and into their village, or whatever. He was asking them, was like, so what'd you think about the village? So he asked him about like what he thought about like experiencing different parts of the land or whatever, and this chief was able to explain things that he's never seen and that he still has not seen. He's like from where we always were. We always thought that the land was being swallowed by the ocean or whatever. That's why we didn't go near it. But now I've seen different, dude. The ocean and the land, they're their own separate things, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but the like, I don't see how people go through the ocean, dude. There's creatures there. There's mm-hmm. like he was able to describe an octopus perfectly, mm-hmm. and he's never seen one, and he still has never seen one. He was able to describe all these different ocean life perfectly without having seen them or having the knowledge of them, mm-hmm. because these people are in tune with the nature. And although they have not experienced that part of nature, as soon as he has, he knew what was there. Mm-hmm. He was attuned with the land.
Like intelligently understood and caught on that quick to what it was. Yeah.
Within like minutes, an hour or hours or whatever, you know? Like
Because you know what I'm saying? When you talk about an ever existing people on generation after generation, that's exactly how it's going to be, because as they pass these stories on to each other throughout
they don't know any of that.
But you said the chief that never came down from the mountain knew that. So the point of a chief is always to bring insight and knowledge to his people.
Yeah.
So if he knew about this, then his people knew about this.
He didn't know about it.
No.
Once he came back, they learned.
No, but what you're saying is he knew that there were octopus and everything down there before he got down there.
No, he didn't. He's saying once he got down there and looked at the ocean,
he started describing it and because of his intuituness. I understand what you're saying now. But that all goes back to what I was explaining. When you just said tribe, that all points and correlates with what I'm saying earlier when I was talking about how these tribal people were so much in tune with nature, and not even nature, a universal order. They knew how things worked and operated universally.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That's why astrology is the first religion.
Yeah, and certain tribes on certain levels. One of the most greatest tribes are the tribes that bring all their collective information together. That's what makes it. That would make a great tribe. But also that would also make a civilization. Because here you are, a compilation of all different tribes coming together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? In exchange of what? Of knowledge. The knowledge to bring about.
It's a form of communities to bring in a unity instead of not a rivalry, but
but in a universal order. And a collective universal order. And that's all I said that the people of Kemet represented. And the only reason why they were my proof to that they represented a universal order is because they took on a universal name. You know what I'm saying? Though they were living on a plane corresponding in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So even though they were in the universe, they still from within the universe understanding how things flow. But because as you look from a microcosmic to a macrocosmic level, the order of how everything operates is still the same, so long as you remain in tune with nature, so long as you understand how it all transpires in nature. So back to what you were saying on how these people were so able to intellectually pick up on his first time seeing the ocean, that there were creatures inside of the ocean. He knew that there was life teeming in there because he understands that life is everywhere. It's just not in different forms.
Yeah.
It's not all in the same form as he is. You know what I'm saying? But they are there.
But
then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then once he was able to get closer to it, he got the attunement. Because I think this being from the mountains, it was just too far away to get that.
He felt the vibes.
Yeah. So like once he got down there, he's like, oh man, this is deep, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And but these same people were so dope. Like they were excited. Robert Wolf gifted them with the knowledge of learning how to read and write, and all the kids were really excited to learn this, like, because they're about that life. Knowledge is king. But then once they had that knowledge, they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
because they don't read and write. They tell each other. They verbalize. They can.
But why? I'll explain to you why. Why? Because all that the form of writing itself, you got to look into what writing is. Writing is nothing but you putting an image in front of you in a form to where you can understand it. So this is why the people of Kemet, because they had a writing form, but they also had a pictorial form, meaning they grew to a point of being able to not see the difference between either, because they were able to extract the understanding from both.
Our written language is going back to pictorial form with emojis and comic books kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
now we got
emojis or whatever. So now we're going out of written, like, because that's all like words are, like in the written form. It's just symbols, like whatever. Like that's how it is in every language.
In its own way.
In its own way. So we're going away from words now and going to pictures, like as emojis, whatever. That's more universally understood. Like I could send anybody in the world a smiley face. They'll know I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell anybody in the world I'm happy. Not everyone in the world can read that, but everybody in the world can read a smiley face unless you're blind.
Yeah.
You know,
but even then, even a blind person has images. Yeah. No matter if he was a person who was blind from birth or eventually became blind, especially if it's a person that eventually became blind and once had sight, they definitely see images. But even a blind person that has never seen images all his life, has been blind all his life, still sees images because of how the mind and the point of what the mind is. The mind is attracted to images. You know what I'm saying? Is attracted to symbols, because the image is a symbol, some kind of a symbol, right? A word or a letter is a symbol. It's just some kind of a symbol. It's to the degree of how or to what you understand it to be. You know what I'm saying? This is why you said he guided these people, or he showed these people words and they could do nothing with it, because they already understood images. They already understood it. Characters, because that's also what they call a word. Another word for a word is a character. They already understood characters and how the form of characters work. That's why they were like, well, okay, we have no use for this, because we're already good at putting a vibration to what we're saying, and then using those vibes, getting a vibe off of those of what's being said, and bringing an image to the mind as a form of understanding. Well, you know what I'm saying?
That's the beginning of all language, because at first it was never a language. You know, like if you try to look at the first man, like, which is impossible to see like the first levels of communication. It was just like, I always imagined just a series of grunts. You know, like you see a rock, you give it this, and then everyone does the same, You know, that's a rock now. And then there's a tree. That's a or whatever. You know, so like we give that. You know, and then later everything formed into something more.
Caveman justice. That's kind of funny, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I give us more credit than that as just a race of intellect of intellectual, because in its sense, nature in itself is intelligent, bro. Nature in itself never started off Nature in itself already was in its intelligence and just began. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, how a child is born. You know what I'm saying? That's very natural. And if you keep him in his natural setting amongst worldly things, and what I mean by worldly things is you got this person from this part of the planet, this person from this part of the planet, from different parts of the world, all in cahoots with raising this child. That child will gain gain something from each one of those worldly people. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Equally. You know what I'm saying? And we'll take from each one of them, and the end result will be what? Simply that, okay, I understand what he's saying, understand what he's saying, understand what he's saying. And if they don't understand what each other is saying, I'm now the bridge to bringing that understanding to them. But there was even some level of understanding between the people who were all collectively there to put inside of that singular void child mind. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is that at some point in the history of humanity, there had to be some point of beginning. I don't care what the beginning is. Yeah. I have no idea what the beginning is.
But all I'm saying is know that it was intelligent. Yeah. Know that it didn't take the progressive steps. That's why I said it was funny of a caveman. Like, It may have just took.
Don't take the grunts or whatever.
I'm not taking the grunts.
As unintelligence.
No. I'm not.
It was just.
But from
as a basic form of how language started, we don't know that. We don't know how language started. You know, and that's just.
Okay,
that was just
from the point of language.
Yeah, from the origin of all language. You know, that's where I was going at.
Get here! I've been waiting. I'm gonna get here to get there. I'm gonna get here to get through there, into there.
I can't wait.
I mean, you saying, nigga, made it just for you. Fuck what you saying, made it just for you.
Then he can fall on whoever he want to fall on, or 50, or I don't even know if he really could not come over for 50. I already know that.
Yeah, because you that top.
That's what he came over for. Because he knew I was coming.
No, to watch this, to watch this. Yeah, watch this, D. See this, cuz?
It's gonna be real. Once you get your ass 30.
Yeah, cuz that's what you've been wanting to see.
Wait, nigga.
You ain't been wanting to see 50? But I want to see that.
You did get dubbed last time, though.
Yeah, he dubbed me the second time.
You walked in on the second game. But I won the game before you came in.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was on my heels like that and did all that extra shit.
I knew he got his ass started.
But it don't even matter though. I'm ready right now though. Shit, since niggas want to just what's really good. You know what I'm saying?
Sit your ass
I need to be acting like, this my domain. What?
No, this ain't.
Already.
You already told us.
Mo, I need proper game this spot, man. You got to take that somewhere, man. I need proper game.
Me. I gotta come up to you too.
Oh no, because this is all where it's at. No, it's all where it is.
Fall on my back, B. Fall on my back, B. Fall on my back, B. Fall on my back, B.
We need to have this on the 55 because it's epic right here.
Yeah. You away, nigga. This ain't.
No, man. Man, it don't matter. Now, we both tied.
No.
You won to a tie.
No.
Flip a coin. Since this is like championship, we playing off a best of 3. Let's not play games, King. We know what this really is. We ain't even finna fake for everybody else,
bro.
Exactly.
I lost, but I won one too.
Okay. When you lost, did you lose at home?
But this the best.
When you lost,
did you
lose at home?
This the finale.
When you lost, did you or did you not lose at home?
You lost at home.
That's all I'm saying, nigga. Case closed. You get home.
That's 3 straight. This will be your 3rd straight game at home.
What is you saying, bro?
It's my turn.
No, we need to flip the coin because this is the great stage itself. It's already set.
I won. I took home court for the championship. I took it.
Nigga, out of two games, one game.
You won the first. You had home court on that. You played the second. You lost, and I took home court for the 3rd.
Nigga, so run that home court, bro. Niggas be trying. It's always.
Right, it's always don't even matter, bro. Shit on the guys, man. No, because in my I get to debate all this in my domain.
No, bro, it's not, bro. You just lost.
I'm doing this shit wrong.
No, bro, it ain't yours, bro.
I'm here. Is that how you do it?
It ain't yours.
This is my first. Golden State.
See you. I got the Thunder.
KD, man. KD. It was decided before it was decided. KD.
You ain't my friend.
Yeah. I want to see all the anger and fury in you. Yeah. I'm feeding off that shit.
It's the reason you left, nigga.
Yeah.
Cupcake, nigga.
Yeah.
Is you there? Because I'm where I am. Look.
Bust your ass.
Was you there? Because I don't even know. You could have went back. What was your first one anyway?
Mavericks.
Oh, Mavericks. Barnes. You was not finna send Barnes out
here, boy. I was gonna say he had to tell me about
and you would have matched right up with him. Give Levine don't do that. Put him on him, and he ain't even got no big man. So you really know
he got caught into the vengeance thing. He had to grab Russ.
So you really know what to do.
Russ now.
You was really dead set on the Mavericks, though. I could tell.
That's why I had the last game. I had on when I was going to play D. I had the Mavericks.
Yeah, and I already had the flow linked to him, but I already, like I said, I tricked you out of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did trick you out of that. You can't channel that properly. You can't channel real emotion, anger to that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Because if you do, I'm just going to channel KD real emotion, anger to that shit. And you don't want that. With a creature man like KD. Yeah, creature man.
We on that. Creature man.
Creature man. I'm coming with my creature man.
You better come with it all.
Minnesota
Creature man.
I say 45. I don't think they're going to gel together right. I don't think they point guard solidified. Did D-Rose end up going up there or no?
You still up there with what he's saying. He said 50, you said 55. So
I say
still
45.
That's 50 games.
And that's at the maximum. That's like what I think I still think they might be a 41 and 41.
In other words, if you saying 40 or another, you talking struggle. Huh?
I'm talking about regular.
Scream up there, Sandy. Yeah, she might be.
I think they got a good chance to get to the playoffs. Motherfucking. I don't know how good they're gonna be.
It's like a motherfucking Pringles jar.
Oh, so you even predict playoffs?
Yeah, I predict playoffs, but I predict young team and not going very far. As far as in the Western Conference with Chris Paul going down there, Paul George going there, Durant being there.
But you got to think about that too, though, bro. Listen, niggas switch team. What the Clippers finna do though? Finna be garbage as hell.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They got a playoff spot, but I don't think they got a good chance of it.
Jazz finna be garbage.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Second round in the playoffs. Nobody barely getting through that bitch. And we ain't even said the Spurs yet. We only said the Thunder and what they might be. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors, what we know they going to be. The Rockets, what we know they going to be.
You're talking about in both sides.
That's just West.
Now it's what they might be, bro. With them getting shit picked, bro. Because James Harden was the point guard.
We kind of still really know who's going to be coming out of the West.
The same teams. And the Timberwolves was never there. And if the Clippers stay afloat and stay there, then who got the spot? They don't got the spot.
You know what I'm saying? But who said they gon'? They ain't got the
Clippers not finna be there, so it is a new spot.
You don't think the Clippers can get there? Not for playoffs.
Chris Paul.
Not with Doc and them. They can't.
No.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows Doc tripping. That's all they've been talking about, bro.
Doc's a good coach, bro. But Chris Paul made up for a lot of them deficiencies.
Chris Paul was a lot of them deficiencies. When they had a chance to goddamn get ready to beat OKC to go to damn near the finals,
just said straight. Yeah.
What happened? He threw that dumbass turnover at half court. Threw the motherfucker Russell Westbrook right into the nigga hand.
My energy, man. You doing on my energy? How? I don't know, man. How? Oh, man.
I didn't do shit to you.
Like, we ain't had on some real shit. It's just like
you sat in that seat for some conspiratory reason.
We ain't never,
you know,
we never saw a healthy.
He's in cahoots with something.
Nowhere near the playoffs.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna wrap up this episode.
He had no business sitting in my seat.
Timone Show.
That was an energy thing, y'all.
we're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna leave in the description below. I'm gonna tell you who wins in this NBA game. If you're curious, I'm gonna let you guys know who wins. So
the God.
It most likely won't be Cory. All right,
it will be God.
All right,
God will come out victorious.
Tune in next week. I don't know who my guest will be. I don't know what order I'm playing these videos in, but
it will be God.
Tune in next week. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all got bum ass niggas running.